All right, guys, welcome back to another series of Experience on Air. Today we have Peter Carr with us. Welcome, Peter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Nav. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. Good. Welcome,
Good
man.
seeing you again. It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
it's been a minute, man. I see you. I see you're killing it, man.
Yeah.
How's Dallas treating you? How are you liking it?
Man, Dallas is treating me great, man. I'm a Cali boy, but like y'all gonna have to kick me out of here because life in Dallas is too good.
Yeah, still in Mansfield.
Still in Mansfield, man. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So I've known you for over like 3 years now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience, man. Your journey in the real estate industry, because you kind of have done it a little bit of everything, right? So just I'll start off with, who is Peter Carr?
So my name is Peter Carr. I've done all things real estate related. I think that's just the path I've been on. My goal has been, and my expertise has been around like motivating and educating agents and helping them grow their business. I get a kick out of it, right? So I consider myself a consultant. I consider myself a coach. I consider myself a sales leader, expert.
Yeah.
All of that, right? So, started my career off at Zillow Group as a business consultant there. My job was to build a book of business, help those agents.
Look into zip codes.
Look at the zip codes, but it was more about like, hey, like how can Zillow be, a chink in your armor? How can we help you, an agent, grow their business? I'll tell a quick story about it. So, some of my most favorite stories is when brand new agent who has a couple dollars enters the market, doesn't have a big sphere of influence. How do they grow? Like, how do they get their business started? So I helped a ton of those, that new wave of agents, like, establish their business by making sure not only did they get enough leads, they buy enough leads, but actually turn those leads into business. And so that's how I really kind of got interested and learned about the real estate business. From there, I moved to Texas to work at a company called Gartner, which is a middle enterprise consulting company. We, consulted with the Fortune 500 companies, helping them achieve operational excellence.
Yeah.
Really missed working with people like you, Nav, right?
Yeah.
Like real businesses, real people who, if you help, some Fortune 500 company do another 100 million, so what? But if you help a small local business like yours do an extra 100,000, that's material, right? Like if you help them grow their business and they're able to employ others, that has ripples effects, right? And it gave me more of the feel. So got into working in title, wasn't a really good fit for me. Got into working, got into being a lender, which I was crushing it as a lender, did about 100 deals a year, but still that like passion within me to work with small businesses was running strong. So when I got recruited by Tom Ferry International to help build out their new Dallas location, I was all for it, right? Because I got to recruit, train, develop sales agents or sales reps for Tom Ferry and help them understand here are the mission critical priorities we should focus on when it comes to helping agents grow their actual business, right? Here are their pain points they typically struggle with from an individual agent perspective, from a new and emerging agent perspective, or even someone like you. When I met you, you weren't struggling, right? You were, but there was a level that you needed to get to, right? And there's pain points in that, right?
Yep.
Like going from being an individual agent to being a team leader is a transition, right? And so I think Tom Ferry International, because it has been a great fit for me. I've been there for about a year now, a year and a half now, and now my job got a little bit of a promotion here, working as a director of business development. And my job is to, engage with real estate communities, help, from working with organizations like NAREP, working with title organizations, working with, real estate groups, and helping them, by providing high quality content from our top coaches and clients.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And
Yeah.
you kind of covered a whole lot there with just the, who is Peter Carr.
A little bit.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think like I've witnessed your journey from Zillow to Title to over now to Tom Ferry. So,
Yeah.
man, what is it like like working with Tom Ferry? Because he is kind of like a huge resource for a lot of people in the industry, and a lot of people look to him. And there's few industry leaders, but he is one of those ones that has established himself. So kind of tell me what it's like working with him, and kind of see what is y'all's vision at Tom Ferry.
Sure. Good question. So I'll start with I get to work for one of my heroes. When I started off at Zillow Group as a sales professional, I didn't know anything about real estate or how to even talk to realtors or real estate professionals. And so, one of my mentors at Zillow was like, hey, check out Tom Ferry. He is a leader in all things, real estate agent related, real estate professional related, and helps them achieve their goals. And it wasn't until I really started digging deep into his, public persona. I was like, oh man, I'm super pumped up and inspired just by what he's saying. I even went to one of his summits, and I was supposed to go to the summit to sell zip codes, but I came back selling agents on how to improve their business.
Yeah.
Right. So he's always been a part of my ethos, right, and a hero of mine. So when I got to work there and actually make an impact, I was thrilled. And what was really cool was that who he is in public, he's like that privately too,
yeah.
right? You could joke with him so much, but he'll hold you accountable, right? He'll ask you about your own goals, what your own dreams are, right? Don't tell him you're trying to lose weight, because he'll be like, all right, cool. And then a week later, he's like, hey man, have you checked out the gym? How are you doing on your weight loss journey? Wow, he is who he is. He talks the talk and walks the walk. In terms of what we're trying to achieve, at TF, at Tom Ferry International, is basically the same thing that I've been trying to achieve my career, and that's motivating and educating agents, helping them achieve helping them achieve operational excellence, right?
Gotcha.
Real estate can be a lonely business, right? Whether you're a leader and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to retain my talent on my team while doing enough lead generation for them and helping them grow as professionals, and I got my own thing going on. Who do I go to for advice or help, or who can I go to just keep me on track, right? I'm a brand new agent and I don't know what I'm doing and I need leads, and how do I grow my business? How do I start? And you may not be able to, may not have the access to the networks that we have. So that's kind of what's working at Tom Ferry, and it's fun, right? We're an organization that cares about professional development, so it's filled with people who think like that, right? Full of people who progressively think about business, right? About growing, right? At lunch tables, we just talk about business all day long. It's really fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So why do you think, as a real estate agent, right? This is interesting, and I want to see your perspective on this. As a real estate agent, we work for ourselves. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? You don't have a boss, but, that's also kind of the problem. You don't have a boss. So why do you feel it's important for someone to get coaching or have, a mentor or something along those lines?
I think if you want to succeed in business, you should always have a mentor. You should be mentoring someone, right? And so you should be mentored, and you should be a mentor at all times, right? Having a coach is like that as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why do I think it's important? I think it's important because I feel like even in this environment where people say it's tough, agents know what they need to do. It's just that they don't always do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And why is that?
Why is that? I think it's a discipline thing, right? And it's a distraction thing, right? It's a mindset thing. I mean, when I talk to some of these high level professionals, the ones who are doing 30 plus million a year, they got there by being hyper focused on their goals, and they operate their business like a business.
Yeah.
But real estate professionals, they don't always come from a business background or had someone to teach them those things. I remember you had Don Lawyer, right, coming up, and it was a great mentor to you.
100%.
You got to see his business work and how that worked, right? So when it came time for you to step up and be a leader, right, you had a great roadmap for that.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that. Right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Do you think it's important for someone to join a team when they're brand new into the industry, or do you think you can join as because I spent 2 years on a team. What is your advice to someone who's brand new in real estate? Should they join a team or should they not?
If it were my brother or sister and like, hey Pete, I'm getting into real estate. Like, should I go buy some leads at Zillow? I would be like, no, bro. What you need to do is you need to join a high performing team. Yeah. Right. Now be selective, right, about that team. Like interview team leaders, several of them, to find the right culture fit, right, to find the right model that you want to mock and see, right? And you should also not only just join the team, but you should really join the team. Yeah. Right? Like be a part of their culture, right? Like help that team grow as much as they help you. Because you need to see that example, right? Yeah. You need to be around a community of people, right, who are also winning. I think it's the ultimate cheat code, right? And it's totally worth the money, right? Like, because I'd rather have a team leader help me lead generate, right? Help me close more deals, because doing it on your own is impossible to. There's just too many questions and too many experiences you haven't had, and then once you've kind of outgrown that team, right? Or it's no longer it's mutually, you're not benefiting from each other. You've hit a plateau, right? Then it's time to go, right? But ultimately, you should not only join a team, but you should join the team. Yeah. No, I think that's a new agent. Yeah. No, I think that's a good point because, a lot of times people I'm going to start a team. Right. Well, do you have enough business for yourself, first of all? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, are you even doing enough business? There's different ways, different reasons to join a team. But in the sense, I see a lot of people, they want to start a team just because, I see everyone's doing it. But the thing is you're closing one deal a month. How are you going to coach? You're not seeing enough deals. You're not seeing enough deals. You're not touching enough deals. You don't know enough to coach others. Yeah, that's a good point. Many are called, few are chosen, and then also just take one step at a time with this, right? So here are the things I think you should have, you should consider before starting a team. Number one, I truly believe that being a team leader, your primary job is to help lead generate, right? Or to teach someone how to lead generate on a high level. Because those people are going to be looking at you it's not just I'm joining a team and I'm in college and I don't have any bills. These people are going to look to you to help provide for their livelihood, right? And so that's a responsibility you shouldn't take lightly. Yeah. Thing number two, so you should have lead generation. You should be a master at lead generating, right? You should have a brand, right? I think that's something that you did very well, even as an individual agent. You helped you developed your social media presence and have taught. I've seen you teach others how to do the same thing. Oh, right? 100%. Yeah. And you should lastly have a base of referral business, right? That can provide for you because you're going to be maybe sending your leads off and you're utilizing your brand to help that team. 100%. Right? So you should be able to provide for yourself at the same time. So you should have your referral, your brand, and your demand, those three things down pat before even thinking about starting a team. And then further beyond that, I think from there you should get a coach or a mentor, someone who's financially tied to you to help you level up. Keep you accountable on the things that you may not be thinking that are different from being an individual contributor to a leadership position, right? How do I, recruit by design, right? How do I build a culture, right? How do I manage a team, right? Some of the things that you and I used to talk about all the time, right? identify the talent within the team, and there's different ways to do your one-on-ones and all of those things that you probably don't consider before when you were an individual agent. So
yeah. Well, yeah, because like the thing is like the one thing is like you have your own personal life, then you have your business life, and then it's just like okay, I think a lot of times people have a hard time managing all three of the things, right? Because you can't be the perfect real estate agent helping people, like. How often do you see like the most successful agents are majority of them listing agents, or are they a mixture of the two? Like what are you seeing these days? What are you seeing in the industry?
That's the funnest part about working at Tom Ferry International is I meet the top agents in the country. We coach 1/3 of the agents who do $1 million more in GCI, and typically because of my job description, I'm talking to the top team leader in Florida or the top team in the DMV or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so what I have seen, the top 1%, they have these three things down. It's kind of what we talked about before. They have a strong referral business, right, as a base. They have a strong brand, right? So they're doing the things around their brand. I mean, all of this, right? And lastly, they have a demand generation system, whether that's through their Google business profile, through PPC, through YLopo, Zillow, Realtor.com, you name it. They have a strong demand gen going as well, which can complement what you do from your brand and your referrals. All those things complement each other, but those three things you need to have, I think, to succeed to be the number one.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to be in the movable middle, just get one of those things down.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to be a pedestrian agent, just have only your referral system. If you want to be a pedestrian agent, just have referral and brand. But if you want to be in the top 1%, like I've seen, right, the agents who do, 3,000 transactions a year with their team, or, the ones who are making, 7 figures, you got to have all three down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And have people to help the experts around you to achieve excellence around those three areas.
Yeah. So you kind of talked about like, okay, referrals, right? Mm-hmm. And so creating that demand, right? How do you create that demand?
How do you create the demand? I think that means it's coming to you.
Yeah.
If it's coming to you because of your brand.
Yeah.
Right. So, that's
brand awareness,
marketing. That's getting consistent on. I think video is king.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not just saying that because I'm around the video team here. I'm with you. No, video creation is king. We coach it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, daily videos.
Yeah.
Something I'm even trying to get better at. Like, 5 videos a week minimum. Right. And you can do that in batches or whatever it is and just repurpose content, but you should be putting out 5 reels a week.
Yeah.
Right. Your local game needs to be strong too, right? Like, let's make sure we're farming either from a geographic perspective or farming from a niche perspective. What I mean by that is like choose an area or a client type that you want to go specialize with, right?
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Because like, I think just from what we've just covered right now, if someone just takes this, right, just applies themselves, it's free game. You know what I mean? But but the thing is that's the problem. People don't listen. People, you can lead them to water all day, but they just won't listen.
Information is cheap.
Yeah.
Right. Information is cheap, but like execution is where the millions are made. Right.
I like that.
Can you achieve? Like we give at Tom Ferry International. We give information. We sell execution.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think that's one good point that you make, because I've seen a lot of times, like, Tom Ferry, just like any other business, is advertising itself. It's like, hey, sign up for this, and we'll send you XYZ, and they'll send you the whole.
There.
Yeah,
most of the things you're going to learn at Tom Ferry International, you can get the playbooks. Of course, you'll get like emails after emails, but like no, the playbooks are real.
Yeah.
Right.
and it's real information, but
Yeah.
but I feel like you guys know, like, hey, give them a taste, but at the end of the day, like, they're gonna still need to come to us
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
need that hand holding.
Yeah.
And it's very rare where you find an agent that can just do it all, because certain agents, they're good at selling, but then transaction wise, paperwork wise, they suck at that. Or then you have the agents that are great at making videos, but then they suck at closing. So like, it's rare do you find an agent that can do it all.
Well, I want to flip that word agent to business.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're not an agent, you're a business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very rare that any business has all their stuff together.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why, Deloitte exists.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why Ogilvy, the advertising, Don Draper, that company is Ogilvy. It's a real company. There's a reason why all these consulting firms exist, and it's because no matter how good your business is organically, there's always room for improvement. And more importantly, it is and should be your mission as a business, not as an agent, but as a business, to grow. Because if you don't grow, your inflation is going to kick your butt.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't grow, then your life will creep up on you. Right.
Yeah.
Man, if you made the same amount of money as you were making when I first met you, for most people that would feel great. But if it's the same amount of money, right, eventually your life feels like this, right? Or even, Nav, you're probably a savvy investor. Would you invest in a business that was flat for the last 5 years?
No, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you invest in a business that was set to grow by 100%?
100%. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So stop thinking of I'm an agent, I'm a business, and my business needs to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm not achieving growth, right, because some agents are happy with being like the top agent. Like we have a client right now. He's the number one team in Fort Bend, Oregon. I think they got like a 73% market share, something crazy like that, right? And for a while, he was really happy with that. It's like, man, like I'm crushing it. Then he realized, like, wait a minute, I'm only comparing myself to people in my state. And when I look at the country, there's a lot of room for me to grow.
Yep.
Right? And so he became one of our Mastery Legacy clients and connected with the top professionals just like him, sharpening his skills and he's sharpening their skills, right? So just being part of an elite club is hard too.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. You see there, like, I think you make a good point too. As agents, yes, we are a business and we have to make an effort to grow our business year after year because, yeah, you're right. Inflation gets higher, expenses get higher. And, one thing my dad always tells me is you can always spend money, but he's like, once you get a certain amount of bills, your bills are never going to go down.
That's right.
They only keep going up.
Expenses only go up.
Yeah. So like if you...
Life only gets more expensive.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you're like, oh, hey, I'm comfortable spending $5,000 a month, right? Total, let's just say your total expenses are $5,000 a month. 2 years from now, your bills aren't going to magically go to $3,500 or $4,000. No. They will be at $7,000 a month.
That's correct.
Yeah. So you just need to find a way to make more money.
Do you remember when you thought $100,000 was all you needed to live off of?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I remember thinking that to myself, like, man, when I graduate college and I make six figures, $100,000 a year, I'm on, baby. I won't need to make any more money than that. And eventually that feels like, man, I'm in abject poverty at $100K. It sounds crazy to some people, right? Yeah. But no, it's true.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. And then, that you got people like that are making $100K every month. For some people, I mean, that's just how business is, right? For some people, 100K is a bad month. For some people, 100K is a normal month, and for people is, so it's just like there's just levels to this, and like, but I mean, if you want, I feel like you've kind of already said it. Like, so for someone that's looking to scale their business, what do you think the first step they should take is?
You have to do an audit on your business, right? Or have your business audited. Yeah. Right? Because there's things. And I would even have someone or something. I'm not just here to just sell Tom Ferry coaching, right? But like, even just having someone just look at your business and do an audit and having them ask you the questions, right, that you didn't even think to ask yourself. You're gonna identify blind spots, right? And then once you've identified those blind spots, make those weaknesses your strength.
Yeah, because people only look at the good, like, oh, I'm doing this really well. I'm doing this really well. So blind spots, that's a good thing to call them, right?
Yes.
So when you what are you seeing as the common blind spot for a majority of people?
The common blind spot for the majority of real estate agents is two things. So number one is they believe certain myths or lies about the business.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I only need to work off my referrals.
Yep.
Look, referrals should be a third to 50% of your business.
Yep.
Yes, right? But no other business does that.
Yeah.
No other business only relies on sphere of influence and referrals. Can you imagine if you went to Nordstrom's and they were like, hey, have you been here before? Do you know someone that's shopped at Nordstrom's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because if you don't, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what? That's crazy, right? Yeah. If you went to Chipotle and they were like, only people that we know can eat here, like, that would be wild. That wouldn't be a successful business.
Yeah.
Now, Nordstrom's has one of the best past client follow-up, customer appreciation out there.
Yep.
Right? But they also focus on new biz, right?
Yep.
So, feeding that, always be filling the funnel is something I think a lot of agents lack. I've seen it myself. I'll go to a team and sitting on their prospecting hour, right? And I'll say, all right, team, go, and I'll get on the phones with them too, because I practice what I preach, right? And for that hour, and someone, I say, like, just have 5 conversations with someone you don't know yet.
Yeah.
Just 5 meaningful, revenue-generating conversations. And I'll never forget, it was actually the team manager. It's like, I had 5 conversations, 3 of them with my current clients. I was like, that wasn't
the assignment.
That wasn't the assignment.
Yeah.
I could pick up the phone and call 3 people I know right now. I can call Nav. I can call XYZ. I can call someone I know. That's easy.
That's
right?
comfortable.
That's comfortable. You have to be filling the funnel, because ultimately, not all of your, maybe on average you'll do 3 transactions with every client, right? And every client's gonna make you $150,000 for their lifetime value. But there's gonna be some people who were not impressed with your business, met someone else that they like more, like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to be shooting 100 to be batting 100 with your past clients. Impossible.
Because the reality of it is you can't make everyone happy. Like, there will be clients that you went above and beyond, you knocked it out of the park and everything like that. But the sad truth is some customers you cannot please. It's just how business works, and you can go above and beyond, but it's personality types. There's
they can actually like you.
Yeah. They
can actually like you and the service that you did, and give their business to somebody else still.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think there's a stat out there that it's like 80% of people would reuse their realtor, but a lot of them don't, because the realtor never followed up.
Oh yeah, that will be the second thing.
Yeah.
Right. So the first blind spot I see is they don't fill the funnel up.
Yeah.
Right. The second thing is actually the opposite. They ignore their past clients.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a big portion of agents aren't doing the lead generation that they need to be doing and filling the funnel. And the other part is, like, we have a mutual friend or know someone who only buys leads and crushes it on lead conversion, but man, like, they haven't touched their past clients. Like, you mean to tell me you paid $1,500 to acquire that client and only made $20K off of them, when you could have went back to them and back to them and back to them, and that lifetime value is $150K, right? Like, that's the opportunity, is the repeat business. Yeah. So, that's the second blind spot I see from agents.
Well, yeah. So, like, agents and business, right? Like, because they're always chasing new business, right? It's just like, oh, that one's closed. Now what's next? You know what I mean? I feel like agents have a very short attention span. Right. It's, let me get this one under contract. Let me get it past the inspection, closed. Who's next? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then, like, the thing is I think that's where systems are important in place. You have to be you have to be prospecting, you have to be following up, and then you have to go talk to your past clients.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, what do you see the most successful agents doing? How are they following up?
I got 5 things.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'll blast through them. I
Yeah.
can go an hour on each one of them, but I'll try to go as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is and this is really simple, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Schedule, right? Or some people call it structure. People use systems and structure. They use the word no. It's just schedule.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have a solid time blocked schedule and knowing what you're gonna do for each 3 hours of the day, right? Like you should have like a 2-hour block for this, 3-hour block for that, 2 hour, like a schedule, right? Is the number one, is the first one.
Yep. And it like, I think before not to cut you off or anything like that, but like, you know, people are so like, oh, schedule, but yeah, I'm in real estate, so I don't know if I'm gonna have a closing, I don't know if I'm gonna have this. It's just like, hey, yeah, cool, you're gonna have different things that you do each day, but if you have a closing at 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. is usually your prospecting hours,
why are you scheduling it for that time?
Exactly. Or just be like, no big deal, let me just move it around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Do you still use your paper calendar?
Yeah, I still use a paper
That's
calendar.
awesome.
Yeah. I just write it down.
I love it.
Yeah,
No, I love it. Yeah,
I write it down, and you know, one thing that I'm doing now also is I have a paper calendar, but I also use my laptop a lot.
Okay.
Right. So I have like right now, like, you know, basically. I have a notes pad that's open on my MacBook, right?
Yeah.
And it has basically every single deal that I've already closed this year, everything that's still pending for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's from as soon as it's moving from the pending status, I just copy paste the address. I write the date next to it. It just feels good to see. Okay, hey, like, you know, one more down. All right, what's next? You know, so I'm just looking at each thing, and I'm a visual person. You know, so writing things down, seeing it is what makes it successful.
I really saw that work for you because you are loyal to that calendar, man.
Yeah.
You were like, I should buy you one next time. That's when next time you have a birthday, I'm gonna give you a new calendar.
Awesome. So schedule.
Schedule.
Okay. And then
it's
from
time
there,
blocking, and just look up time blocking. The information is free. The execution is expensive, right?
Yeah.
The next one is lead generation. And but before I go to lead generation, like have a goal that you want to hit and think about that goal, right? Like let's ask you one. What's your goal for? Not this year. This year is done, right? Next year, 2024. What's the goal?
Honestly, personal goal,
Yeah,
personal production.
Yeah.
Personal production. I want to be. I'd like to, for me as an individual agent, not talking about team or brokerage. I want to touch 75 million as an individual agent.
75 million. Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's about 6 million, averaging about 6 to 6.5 million a month.
A month, right? And how much of a jump is that from where you are now?
That would be
100% jump, 30% jump,
probably about 30 to 40%.
34% jump. Aggressive goal, but achievable, right?
Yeah.
Cool, I love it. So, so then I would, if I were your coach, I would do an audit. I was like, all right, Nav, like, how much of your business do you think would come from referrals?
Yep.
Right? How much of your business would come from just your brand?
Yep.
Right? And then maybe that 30% jump comes from lead gen.
Yeah.
Right? So does your lead gen goal, right, match? Does your goal and the lead generation that you're doing match up?
Yeah.
Are they aligned?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, do you think you'll have the lead generating system to get you to that level? Right.
100%.
So that's the second one, is lead gen, right? Like, have a lead generation pillars. You should have 6 things you're doing, right, that generates leads. You talk about what are the agents they're doing who are top and the ones who aren't. Well, the ones who are whose life goes like this, they have like 1 or 2, right? The ones who are doing this, that hockey stick progression, they got like 5 or 6 ways they're generating new opportunities. So when one's slow, the other one's going, right?
Yeah.
They have a well-diversified portfolio of lead generation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Third, we touched on this a little bit, but they have SOPs. They have, like you talked about, when I get a deal, then I do this and I have this down. Well, there's things like Asana or SOP systems that you can have when every time X happens, you have a standard operating procedure to get you through that process so you don't drop any balls, right? That's actually the one thing I'm working on myself a lot this year is I'm going to become like the Asana SOP expert, right? I looked at my blind spots, and that's one of them, right? Like I want to make sure that everything that I do is systematized and operationalized, so I can go on vacation and actually be on vacation, right? So heaven forbid something happens to me, I can hand off that operational handbook to my number two, right? And they can run maybe not as fast as I can, but certainly a lot better if I just say, hey man, I'm sick, I'm out.
Yeah.
Go do the thing I do. Like what? Huh? You know what I mean? Like, so having your operations in order is 3.
Yeah.
Four is the mindset piece.
Yep.
Right? Like, I think when I look at I've been managing sales professionals for a long time, and when I look at the top sales professionals, life is going to happen to you.
Yep.
Right? Something
that you can't plan for,
plan for, that is tragic or otherwise, or just something is going to get in the way of your rock solid plan.
Yeah.
Right. And the difference between the folks who are in the 50th percentile and the 90th percentile in performance is that when something bad happens to the 90th percentile person, they bounce back quick. Right. Like they take a moment, they take a beat. Maybe they cry about it for a day, a week, and then they're, boom, right back into business, right? Where when something happens to the person in the 50th percentile, in terms of performers, that one thing, man, they'll just spiral, right? And they'll harp on it, and it'll just...
That becomes the reality.
That becomes a reality, right? And it's just like, man, you got to shake that off, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to be bastard about it, right? But you look, man, like when my grandmother passed last year, and man, I was sad about it, man. We were tight. My grandma was tight, but bro, I was up for a promotion. I had a new boss. I had new objectives I had to hit. So I took 2-3 days off, said my goodbyes, and got back to the business. Right? That's what top performers do. And so having a strong mindset, right, or the things that keep you mindful like that, I got to have that as a number 4.
Yeah.
So the fifth part.
So okay, I mean.
So we went over it. So far we have your schedule, right? Number 2 was lead generation. Number 3 is having your systems and operations, like your SOPs in order, right? Yeah. Number 4 was mindset, and the fifth one is really uncomfortable when you talk about it, but it's your finances, your budgets, right? Like from a leadership perspective, like I need to be looking at what are my lead generating systems, especially when it comes to demand. Like, what's my current profit loss? What's my ROI on XYZ? Like, am I getting enough return on investment on this, right? Am I not going to do, how much money do I need to put away for to make sure I can hit my bill on time? All like the taxes, taxes get people right, like all of that. Like, do I have my financial situation in order? I don't mean to talk about taxes right now on this podcast because it makes me nervous. Yeah. Right? But like seriously, those are the things that if your budget isn't in order and you can't pay the bills, right? And it doesn't mean that you're not making enough, right? Like having Dave Ramsey says this all the time, like, create a budget and it'll feel like you got a raise, right? And so like making sure that your finances are in order so you can achieve excellence, huge. And that's something we do help you with here at Tom Ferry. Yeah,
man. Shout out to Dave Ramsey. That guy, his videos are hilarious. I think a lot of people call him in. One of my favorites is he's like, your car payment is $3,000. What do you drive? Dude is
it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, dude's so dramatic. But it's out there, man. The world and the finances go back to just what we were talking about. If your expenses are $5,000 a month right now, 2 years from now, I'm guaranteed you're going to be $7,500 a month if you're not up to at least $8,000 a month
from inflation alone.
Yeah. So
inflation alone, like without even trying to do it, like you didn't get a new car, you didn't get a new house. It's just like, oh no, like things have gotten more expensive.
And not to talk about property taxes again, but or not taxes again, but property taxes, especially in Texas. Like
escrow shortages. Happen every year. So looking forward to that for my clients or anyone. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean that's what we're here for, is to help them and everything like that. Man, I think we've talked quite a bit about, what people should do for their business, what people should do for, starting a team and everything like that. What would you say, like, what is your biggest advice, like, just to any other business owners, like, obviously scheduling, all that stuff, but like, is there anything that we haven't talked about, like, that you're kind of thinking about, like, I think the one thing I haven't covered is, and when I say this, I'm talking to myself too, right? As a business professional, is like, if you don't do anything that we talked about, right, but one thing, and that's just having the most conversations.
Yeah.
Right? The person who has the most revenue generating conversations, whether you are a loan officer like I was in the past, like I did 150 loans in 2022 or 2021, excuse me, right? And I did the math on what that took. Like, okay, I used to spend my call time. You know what my call time was? Like the number, my talk time, 8 hours. 8 hours of talk time per day, right? It was crazy, right? Like, I even had to tell my wife, like, listen, I'm gonna be, while the interest rates are at this level, like, I'm gonna capitalize on this opportunity, right? Which I don't know how long it's gonna last, but like, I'm gonna talk for 8 hours a day on the phone, right? Yeah. Like, I had 2 headsets, right? Two Bose, not Bose, but Beats by Dre headsets that I just walk around and talk. I had 10 meaningful conversations per day. Typically 2 or 3 of those would turn into like a loan sub, right? Like talking to people about this situation, typically helping people get out of their escrow shortages, right? Or helping them refinance, or helping them get out of a bad situation with credit card, whatever it was. But the ultimate lesson there was like meaningful conversations, and a lot of them, right? If you go on your calendar right now as a business professional and there's a bunch of empty white space, I would be blocking that time off to just be hitting the phones. Yeah. Right? And it's simple, right?
Pick up the phone, make calls.
Yeah. And I'd organize it. Like, I want to do 5, 5, 3. I want to talk to I want to have 5 meaningful conversations with past clients. I want to have 5 meaningful conversations with prospective new clients, right? And I want to send 3 meaningful emails and/or text messages out to either of those 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of things are shifting, right? Like, phone calls are not happening as much. Everyone's so much more comfortable texting. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's the art, right? Like, you have to practice it. If you don't practice it, your phone's not gonna just, like magically start ringing, you know? So, no, I think that's
if you're not comfortable making phone calls, actually how I landed you as a client back in the day, I would get up early in the morning, right? And I had this software, which I can't remember the name of it right now, that would send out the text at a certain time, right? So I would sit on my MacBook and I'd write 100 text messages to real estate agents that I wanted to do business with. It would set a time for when it would send it out, right? And I would send that out, and as soon as someone responded, like you responded to my text message, then I'd call, right? So if you're not comfortable making a cold blizzard call, hop on text, right? Like,
hey, let's find a time to connect.
Or I saw this, hey, past client, I was looking at Zillow and they have some BS estimate on your home, or tell me what you think about your home value right now. Like, look at what I'm seeing on Zillow. Like, what do you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I just sold this house in this area. Let me know what you like. Do you know, like, what do you think about that home sale price, right? Or hey, I'm doing an open house. Like, do you know anybody? Like just send text.
Yeah.
Send a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, conversations, text messages, marketing yourself, branding yourself, all of this, all the little stuff adds up, right?
Revenue generating activities.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Do you have any questions for me that you want to ask me or anything like that?
Man, like talk to me about the team and like where you like what are the things? Cause I used to go to your team meetings, really just kind of get an idea of what's going on in the marketplace. Like for you, what's the theme that you've been having over the last couple of weeks with your team? What are the things that you're advising them on right now?
Man, market's moving regardless, right? Like if you, like you said, like things get tough. Which percentile are you in? Do you want to be sharp or do you want to just kind of be average? You know what I mean? Because like me, like I have certain expectations for my team now. Like, hey, we were all young. We were young.
Yeah.
Now we are like the industry leaders, you know what I mean? And the average age of the real estate agent is going to keep getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
And we're the ones who are going to step it up.
Yep.
And like, love all my mentors and everything like that. But, they're kind of like, stepping out, like there's, cause I feel like you can only go so much without, systems and everything like that in place. So, for my team, we're just talking about what's happening in the market, what the future holds. And, it's the same thing, business as usual. Like, you know what I mean? Like nothing matters but what you do today. Like, cool, you had a killer May. Like, we're going to have
next?
What's next? You know what I mean? Like, you can't ride that way forever.
Job done?
Yeah, exactly. So like, for us, it's just full speed ahead. And, we want to keep making a difference in the industry. We're here to serve our clients. And we're also here, to be the best. Like, I mean, it is great to be, a top young performing team in DFW, right? But then there's Texas, then there's America, you know what I mean? And then this is a larger game. So, we just want to keep scaling up and just kind of doing our best and doing a service to our clients. So, that's just kind of the goal. Just help as many people as we can. If you help and have meaningful conversations, the results will speak for themselves.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool, man. And so, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
I have a way that you can text me, right? And you can just like schedule appointments with me. If you text the word Peter to 888-500, my calendar link will come up. You can schedule a one-on-one with me if you're an agent just curious about just doing an audit on your business, like just looking at like what are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities of your business right now. You can do that, or you can just reach out to find us on Ferry International. The Instagram handle is just FI, Ferry International. You can go there and DM and say, hey, I saw Pete on a podcast. Would love to talk to someone about coaching.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's text Peter to what number?
88500. Let me make sure that's.
let's make sure. Yeah.
I have this thing called. Have you heard of Win Local? It's like a. Let's see. 88500. Yeah. 88500.
All right. Yeah. So the best way to connect with you is text Peter to 88500.
Yeah. Best way to reach out to me, best way to connect with me, text Peter to 88500, and then from there you can schedule a consultation or, see some of our webinars that we put on all the time.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And, I know Tom Ferry is local, right? So
yeah, right here in Dallas, man.
Yeah. So y'all do like a lot of events and stuff like that, right? We
got Summit coming up at the end of August, right? Last year's Summit, you were there, right?
Yep.
Last year's Summit, like over 5,000 agents there. This year's Summit, it might even be bigger. It's the 20th anniversary. Nice. It's actually something I'm working on a lot right now, working with some of our speakers and looking into what some things we're going to be presenting at Summit.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time out. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see the success and, continue to wish you the best, man.
Nav, always a pleasure, bud.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Cool.